Hello everybody. I want to talk a little bit more about how you can keep your horse on the bit as you're riding, and especially when you're going through walk-trot transitions. And there's an exercise that I'm going to show you in a moment here that will help you, use the concept of having your horse in a shoulder fore-like or a shoulder in-like position as you're inviting them to go into the up or the down transition. And the reason behind all of this is, of course, that in terms of, evasiveness or stability that you could encounter when your horse is trying to bring his or her head up in the transitions, you already say to them, hey, look, this is so much more comfortable. Let me show you as I am, positioning yourself slightly inwards, a little flexion to the inside. I'm going to ask the horse with my lower leg to engage his or her inside hind leg a little bit more in the up or down transition, right? And that is, in the context of the circle of aids, which I've been talking about in some of my other videos before here, and you can watch those to get more into details about that. But in that context, we're connecting the horse from the hind to the front through the rider's body, and we're catching the energy in the horse's mouth, which then leads back into our hands and invites the horse to rest on that elastic rein contact in a very comfortable way. And then that will help the horse to move, fluidly and in a relaxed manner through her or his whole body while we're sitting on them. Very important. And so without talking too much more about all of that, I'm going to go and show you. I have set up a little center point in the next 20-meter circle on the other side of the arena, which I'm going to go towards now. And you will see it's a little hula hoop ring. I don't know if you can see that from the angle of the camera, but I put some cones around it just to mark that area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself and Tana into a medium walk frame here for a moment. I might bridge my reins. That's always a good idea when we're, trying to make sure that we're not trying to be, caught in old patterns and not too busy with our hands. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto this 20-meter circle, and I'm slowly going to spiral in a linear spiral. I'm in very subtle shoulder-to-shoulder mode. And then I am going to, as I'm coming closer, and I'm coming maybe into a 10-meter circle or an 8-meter volte around the center point here, and I'm going to say to her, let's leg yield here for a few steps. And you can see that we're doing that right now. And then out of the leg yield, I'm going to ask her to go into a few steps of baby trot, right here. And you can perhaps see I'm having her lean on my inside rein, which also will help her, with a stabilizing outside rein and outside leg, will help her to stay supple in the mouth, yield to my inside aids. And I'm staying on this very small little baby trot circle here for a moment. And then I might either leg yield out or go in a spiral outwards. It's up to you and your horse's developmental stage and level. And then when I'm out here on the 20-meter circle, I'm going to go into a bit of a posting trot. Just showing my horse that, look at this, how nice and connected she is. I'm using a little bit of a feel of, using my knee pressure to keep her connected and to make her understand I don't want her to rush off. Lower leg, every time I sit down, enhances what she's giving me by nature in terms of how far she's able to track up from behind, which in Tana's case, she's a little bit older and she's had some health issues and surgery, so we're not expecting for her to be, going super far underneath herself. That's just not possible at her stage in where she's at with her life. I'm going to sit the trot, breathe out, think shoulder fore-like on the 20-meter circle. And then I'm going to go back into this little spiral, and we're going to do, again, a little bit of these few steps of leg yielding on an imaginary circle around the center point of the circle here, right? And it's my inside leg that goes in shoulder-to-shoulder mode and helps her trying to stay very straight through her body as we're leg yielding. But at the same time, I'm going to give her now the trot cue, helping her to understand that we're just going to be tiny little baby trot steps, but correct and in frame, so to speak. And all of this is not because I'm holding her there. You could not do that with a lovely, beautiful, spirited horse like Tana. She would not let you. I'm going to leg you out here so I'm not forgetting about her while I'm talking so much. I would not be able to, and I wouldn't want to hold her head down and keep her in this rounded position. It's just impossible. It also completely would defeat this purpose of why we're even doing it, which is to create an outline and a movement manner for the horse where they can relax through their whole body within the circle of aids and carry us riders more comfortably, right? And that is ultimately always the goal. And as I am in this nice posting trot, I might then sit the trot. You can play with these elements and go back into the circle here and breathe out and have a very nice down transition if it's not working so well on the large circle and your horse might not listen to you, right? And here are a few steps of these leg yields again around the center of the circle. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to go again, inside leg drives mostly, outside leg is a little bit farther back. So I cluck to her a little bit because she's almost thinking, really, 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 this is so subtle. But we want to train our horses to be subtle and light to our aids, right? We don't want heavy duty anything. No heroic actions with our legs, no big spurs, nothing that isn't already sort of naturally almost part of what we're doing anyway. We're just always saying, hey, how about this? How about a little bit more refined, a little bit lighter version of what we've been doing up to this point? And it creates such a nice tone for your interactions with your horses. It's such a nice, non-invasive but collaborative effort to become smoother and softer and more correct. The more you ride these things, and I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to bring her here into a nice down transition, breathing out. And you might want to do these shoulder in or leg yield type of movements in just a larger circle around the center. It really depends how much crossing and how much balance your horse is able to do and what works better for each individual part of you. And then I'm going to ask again, trot a little bit. And I always have to remember the outside rein also has to help. It's not just the inside rein that I'm asking the horse to lean on. Both hands might even, I don't know if you can see it from your perspective, but both hands might even come inward a little bit. See how I'm exaggerating it right now. But this is how far you can take your hands in some cases. Not always, but in this case with Tana, she will allow this for me to do this, right? Then we're going to leg yield out a few steps. And then we're going to do one more nice little posting trot circle. And this time I'm going to let her stretch a little bit. And, that is such a nice way to say to your horse, hey, look, we're starting out in a nice frame, with a nice connection. And I'm going to two-point her for a little bit. And I still have contact with the reins, a little bit wider. But this is always, such a nice way to, let the horse relax and enjoy the process and end up in a positive, lighter, stretchy frame. And then it's like, wow, that felt good. And so hopefully this was helpful again for you and gives you some inspiration for some things you can try out with your own horses. And thank you for watching and happy riding. Thank you so much, Dana. Good girl.